Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about resumes. I had a very sweet pre-nursing student ask me if I could look over her resume, and I did. And I thought, you know what, there's probably a lot of other pre-nursing students that may need help with their resumes. So I thought I'd go ahead and do a video and show you how to kind of get it started. I am not a resume guru or anything like that. This is kind of just a good basis and of a start for you to start writing your resume and kind of have the information you need down pat. I would definitely recommend you talk to a professor or someone that really knows how to create resumes to get it final and have the final touches on there before you submit it. But I definitely think I have a really good way to get you started, kind of know where to position things and how to set it up pretty nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about that today. So first things first, I have 3 template resumes that I am going to link down below. Those are the 3 that I think look the most professional, and they look really nice to me. They stand out. You want to be careful when you're picking resume templates because you don't want something that's too extravagant, because remember, this is a health professional resume. If you were into more like graphic design or something more artsy, I think the more extravagant ones would be better, so it could show your expertise in that field. But for, anything medical, you want something that does stand out, but you want something very professional as well. So these are the 3 that I thought were very professional. And I'm also going to link down below the website of where I found those resumes. There are other resume templates down there, and they also have, I believe, cover letters and a couple other things. So you can go ahead and check that out. They're all free and downloadable. But those are, again, the 3 that I thought were the best. So I'm going to go ahead and screen record my computer, and we're going to go ahead and kind of do a dummy resume together, just so I can show you how things work. Maybe you can get out your template and do it with me. But this is going to go ahead and get you started for the basis of your resume. And again, get someone more qualified and more professional to help you finalize it before you submit it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start setting up my screen record so I can show you guys what I am doing. All right, let's figure this out. So I'm just gonna go ahead and show you on my screen what I'm doing. So I'm gonna first show you the 3 different templates that I thought looked the most professional, and then we'll go ahead and start filling it out. So this one was the first one. I thought it was very simple. It's really good for people that are gonna be in the BSN program, because there's probably not as much to fill out as if you were in the ABSN program, where you have probably like a couple of degrees, maybe a lot of work experience. So this is kind of a nice, standard, simple resume to get started with. So I really like this one. And then this one is another one. This one's really nice and simple as well. I really wouldn't recommend putting a picture on there. Maybe if you wanted to replace the picture with a like a healthcare symbol or something like that, because I don't know, I just feel like if they don't ask you for a picture, don't put one. I think I'm very, avid believer of, your resume shows your skills and your credentials and your education, and a picture shouldn't sway them either way. So I really wouldn't put a picture, but I thought that was nice. And if you want to put like a symbol or something else in place of that picture, I think it's definitely a nice option. It's really nicely laid out and has like different colors. It stands out, and I think it's a good choice. But the one that we're going to be working on is this one. This one is my favorite. I definitely think it is very nicely executed, and it has nice colors, and it's just a really nice layout. So we're gonna go ahead and fill this one out together. Now I already have one filled out next to me, so I'm just gonna go ahead and copy it down here, but I kind of wanted to do it together so I can show you why I place things in certain ways and why I move things around, just so you guys are aware. Okay, so we're gonna start at the top. So obviously you're gonna put your first name, but in this case, it's going to be John Doe. So write John here, last name Doe. Ooh. Doe. Okay. All right. Perfect. Okay. So on this right side here, I don't think it's really important to put your Twitter or your social media or anything like that, because that's not the type of job that we're looking for. So we're just gonna go ahead and delete that. I think it is important to have LinkedIn if that's something that you're probably going to have to make anyways later on in your career. So it's definitely nice to have one now as a student. So if you have one, you can go ahead and put it in, but we're just going to go ahead and start at the top with the address. So what did I make up? So 1, 2, 3, 4 Buttercup Lane. This is, I don't know if this is real or not. I don't think so, but okay. So then Miami, Florida, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then we're gonna put in your phone number. Definitely your cell would be preferable if you still have a landline. So 222. All right, and then we're gonna type in your email. And if you are in school, whether it is high school or college, and you have a school email address, I would definitely recommend using that instead of your, personal one, just so that it shows that you are from a school and it's definitely more legit and you're probably more likely to check that one. So I would definitely recommend that. So for example, this is all made up, hopefully. Let's see. So this one's gmail.com, it's just an example, but if you have one that has an edu at the end, that was definitely more preferable. And then LinkedIn profile, I'm assuming they want your, the link to it, but we're just gonna put the John Doe for now, because that's not as important at the moment. Okay, so we have that filled out. One thing to please remember is because if you have to print this out to give it to, whether it's an employer or a school or whatever it is, I'm assuming you're probably gonna email it, just because of the times and obviously the technology and whatnot. But if you have to print it, please remember to check it before, because I had to give out resumes for looking for preceptors. And for some of them, my name was at the top and it was totally cut off. So here I'm handing resumes and I come back home and I'm thinking, I made a lot of packets and I'm just like, wait a minute, where's my name? So I'm literally handing out packets to people with 0 name. Everything else was perfect and it was great and everything was wonderful. And I'm like, well, that's great, because now they have no idea who I am. So please remember to, I eventually fixed it and all that, but remember, if you're going to print it and if anything gets cut off, just check it before you submit it or give it anywhere. Okay. So with regards to the objective, that's basically like a little spiel of saying what your objective here is to do. So this is just an example, but you're applying to nursing school. So an example would be, don't use this because it's very a generic thing. You want it to be more towards you as an individual, but this is just kind of an idea. So for example, I am interested in pursuing my nursing education at X institution, whatever institution that is. I plan to grow my knowledge, excel at clinical, and develop, I feel like I'm eating my hair, and develop my skills to become an efficient health care member. So this is something short and sweet. It's usually 2 to 3 sentences long. It's just a little something just to show who you are, what you're looking for, what you're here to do. So that's going to be done. So now, whether you're applying to the BSN program or the ABSN program, it's definitely important to put your education first. It's definitely different than applying for a career or a job or whatever it is. With education, they want to see education first. When you're typing in the education, you want to go in order from most current and then down to the one that was done a long time ago. So the first thing you're going to put for education is what the most current thing was. Now, if you were in dual enrollment, I would probably put your associates that you got first and then your high school diploma. If you already passed high school and you are in obviously your first 2 years of college in the community college or whatever college it is and you're separate from high school, then I would definitely put your associates first as pre-nursing, and then probably you could put your high school if you want. It's not super necessary, but if you are in high school doing your dual enrollment, I would put both. So for first things first, I'm gonna kind of gear this towards more BSN students because they're probably less experienced with writing resumes. And if you're an ABSN student, you probably have had a couple degrees, worked maybe a few years of your life, and you've probably done resumes before. So I'll touch here and there for the ABSNs, but I'm gonna stick more with the BSNs. So first things first, I definitely think education should be the first thing you put. So for an example, the great thing about a template is that it's pretty much already there for you and you just fill it out with your own information. You don't have to worry about spacing or anything like that. If you want to not use a template, that's totally fine. Just use, you can use a template as a guide, or you can actually use a template to actually put on your information. So first things first, degree title. Let's just say your associate's degree, and I would put pre-nursing. I really wouldn't put like you're getting your degree in nursing because you haven't had that yet, you haven't completed it yet. A resume is stuff that you've completed, not that you're going to complete. So I really would recommend you stick with what you have done so far. So the school, obviously these are all made up, so just Sugarland University, whatever it is. And then obviously for the dates, you don't need to put like, you know, May 1st, 2012. Just put the year. That should suffice. So 2012 to 2014. So here I would probably also include your GPA. It doesn't make sense to hide it because when they get your transcripts, they're going to see it anyway. So you might as well just be straight up with it. So let's say 4.0. Okay, so you have that done. So then let's say you can put your high school also. So you can put high school diploma. Wow, that's smart. High school diploma. And then from, just gotta get back to regular there. There we go. And then cookie dough. Cookie dough. High school. Did I spell cookie dough wrong? Whatever. That's how it's spelled today. All right. And then from dates, let's see. Dates 2008 to 2012. These are all made up dates. Obviously you want to put it like dates in chronological order from most recent to least less recent. And again, go ahead and put your GPA, whatever it was, because they're going to see it anyway. So just don't be scared to share it. It's really, they're going to find out either way. So just be upfront with it. All right, so you have your education done. It's really important to put that first because you're applying for a program, so they want to see what your education is, how did you do, that type of thing. Now, with regards to experience, I think it's important to have experience if you have any work experience and separate that from any health experience you have. So when I think of health experience, I don't just think of did I work in the healthcare field, but did I volunteer in the healthcare field, you know, anything else that has to do with health. So I would separate these things together. So for example, you have experience. I'm gonna create another little segment. So here I'm just gonna go file, no I'm not, I'm gonna go edit, copy, and then paste. And then make that go down a little bit. You gotta just play with it a little bit. And then just so you have the same thing on each place, copy and paste. And then here I'm gonna put health experience first because obviously we're applying for a health program, so we want to put that first. Okay, so that's good. So the first thing, let's say that you worked as a CNA. So I would put here as a job title, certified nursing assistant at, what did I put? Donut assisted living facility. You can tell I love food. Okay, and those are going to be from dates 2012 to 2014. Okay, so obviously here, if you're applying to nursing school, they're most likely going to know what a CNA is. But first of all, I think you should definitely spell it out just to be more professional, be consistent. And you can just say very bullet points. When you're putting these little points down here, describing what you did and different things, you can't have, you know, paragraphs and sentences. They really need to be short and sweet because to be realistic, when people are reading your resume, they're not going to read every single little detail. They're going to look at the most important things, and that might be reading the first thing per each section. So you want to make sure that the first thing is the most important thing for you and the most important thing of what you're applying for. So in terms of health experience, if you have worked as a CNA, worked as a phlebotomist, I think that would be more important than if you just volunteered at the hospital, which is a wonderful thing to do. But in terms of applying for nursing school, I think they would consider the work experience you have in the healthcare field more of a priority, and that's what I think you should put first. So for a certified nursing assistant, you can put helped patients with their activities of daily living. So you can put that there. So let's say you had volunteered at a hospital. To me, that is healthcare related and separate from volunteering in like, an animal shelter or anything like that, which I definitely think you should put down, but not in this particular section. So you could put volunteer and then at Boys and Girls Hospital, and then dates from, again, just use the years is totally fine, 2012 to 2014. Okay, so for this you can put, just as an example, you can go ahead and put helped with arts and crafts activities on the pediatric floor. Just something simple like that. Just show like very, like this is not a, sentence structure or anything like that. Just put, in bullet points what you had done. All right, so that is good for that. So now we're doing experience in terms of any positions that you had that were jobs that are not related to the healthcare field. So for example, maybe you worked as a sales associate, or you worked, on the floor, cashier, whatever it is, it's definitely important, because it showed, one, if you were in high school and did it, that you were able to have an education and work at the same time and do well. That shows a lot of multitasking, and that's really good on your resume. It also shows that you can work with customers as a nurse, as long, you are still helping people, but it is customer service. So it's definitely important for the school to understand and know that you did it and you did it well. So it's definitely important. Things that you might think are, they might not think it's important, I really would recommend asking. You can ask me, or give me an email, shoot me an email, or you can ask your professor or maybe a nurse or someone else to see if it's really important, because some things might be more important than you think. So for example, I would just leave experience as experience. And then let's say, for example, you worked as a sales associate at, let's just say, Forever 21. I can't think of another name on the spot. So let's say that was from 2012 to 2013. Okay, so for here you could say worked with freight as well as on the floor, and worked as a cashier as well as helping customers pick out clothing. Something simple like that. Just show that you're interacting with the customers, that you're working and you're in the field, so it's good. So let's just assume you only have one job. Again, this is just a very basic resume. You're gonna have a lot more stuff to put on your resume. They say ideally that you should keep your resume at 1 page. I'm not really sure in these days how realistic it is, because a lot of people are involved in a lot of things, but that's where it's important to ask people their opinion of how you can scrunch it down a little bit and put the absolutely most important things that you need for what you're applying for. But it's okay if it's probably a little bit more than a page, but definitely no more than like 2 pages. Like, you can't have this long resume. It needs to be short and sweet, because that's what it is. It's just like a little snapshot of your life, of what you're doing, of what you're applying for. So let's see what I have next. So, okay, so I got rid of, on here, I got rid of the skills, because that's kind of more, I think, for when you start applying to nursing jobs and nursing positions, because maybe some skills would be like you worked on a certain system on the computer of how you're charting, and that might be some skills that you learned, or some skills that you acquired over clinical. So I would wait for that. I don't think that's super important at this state. But what I did do was I created another little section for volunteer experience, because I definitely think that's important. So again, copy and paste just the information you already have, and then just fill it out with the new info. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. So let's just say you are a volunteer at an animal shelter. And then I would just put, you can also like label it volunteer / leadership experience, so that you don't have so many little sections. It's because then it takes up too much space, and if you only have a couple things per section, then it's kind of like a waste. So I would kind of group volunteer and leadership together. So you could say animal shelter 2012 to 2013, and then you can put played with the animals and gave them baths, or whatever it is. But it just shows that you're doing other things, that you're involved in your community, and that's super important. So you have that, and then any leadership positions that you hold, maybe you're a leader in your club or anything like that. If you have any certifications, maybe you were phlebotomy certified, CPR certified, anything, I would create another little section for certifications. I would probably put that underneath the health experience, just because you want certifications that are health related. So then in that case, I'd put education, health experience, certifications, and then the stuff that is less health related towards the bottom. So you have that, and get rid of this. So as far as activities, I really don't know at the moment what I would label it. I don't think I would label it activities, but this is a little part where I think it's nice to have, because it gets the people to know about you, who you are as a person, separate from work, just who you are as a human. So for example, you could put, I was involved in the arts club or whatever in college. I am passionate about swimming and volunteering at the animal shelter. I held a leadership position in my school doing XYZ, that sort of thing. So just kind of get to know how you are, this is kind of like the only area where you can really express how you write and express your thoughts and whatnot, instead of the bullet points. So I would definitely make sure that you say a couple sentences that are really nice about you and expressed in a really nice way. The last thing I would do, I'm gonna copy and paste this one more time, is I would have a little section for references, but I don't think it's very important to have all your references there. I would put, and I'll show you in a second. Okay, you may have a lot of references in terms of like where you worked or volunteer experiences or anything like that. I would put, in this case, available upon request, because there might be too much to write. Oh, that's not how you spell it. There's probably a lot to write, and it's better if interested, they'll go ahead and ask you, can you send me the name and the number or email of anyone that you want to reference you. So that's something that you can leave alone, and I would just leave it alone with that, and obviously change this top part to references. All right, but that's kind of how it looks like. I think it's really nice. It's definitely a good start. You're probably gonna have a lot more to write, obviously different experiences than John Doe here, but this is definitely a good way to set it up. I think it's really nice. I think it stands out, and you have all the information you needed. It's easy to read, and you wanna make it as easy as possible for the people reviewing your resumes to read, because they have tons and tons to read. You want to make sure yours stands out. Put the most important things at the top of each section. Put your sections in order of importance. So obviously in this case, it would be more health, and then going into more work or stuff that's less health related. So this is definitely a great start. I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording my screen. Let me just remove that. Okay. So I hope these little tips helped you. It's definitely kind of intimidating to write your resume at first. I hope this is a really good basis for you. Again, I am not a resume guru. I am just a nursing, a nursing student, because I am still a nurse, and I'm a nurse practitioner student, just trying to help you guys out. This is kind of the technique that I use. I didn't use this particular resume template. I was trying to find it and I really can't find it. But this is a really good start. I hope it helped you kind of figure out what's more important to put and kind of how to lay it out a little bit better. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Remember to always believe in yourself, and remember to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, bye guys.